Hi, welcome back to Community Conversations. I'm Tina Howard. We have a fun show today. We have with us Sam Brown and Bree Alexander. Thank y'all for coming today.
Thank you for inviting us.
So if you might recognize Sam and Bree, Sam has been around for many generations, I think, right?
Seems like it.
Yeah, and Bree has been in a number of productions in high school. Your peeps are not from Hartwell, they are from nearby?
Elberton.
Yeah. And so we claim you anyway.
Yeah.
Going back generations. So give your peeps a shout out. So if anybody's watching and they might go, Brown, Alexander, who are your peeps?
Okay. My mom is Sandra Ayers, and my stepdad is Ben Ayers, and my dad is Brent Alexander, and my stepmom is Cindy Alexander. And then my grandparents are Ben and Cookie Ayers, and Linda Probst, and Kathy Alexander.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great family network that
I
you
love
have.
everybody. And a shout out to my family, my grandma, grandpa, mom and daddy, everybody, and my aunts and uncles.
That's so sweet.
Give her a shout out.
My name is Linda. And good. And Sam?
I'm Sam Brown. My dad is Doug Brown. My mom is Connie Brown, Mewburn Brown. I'm for sure a Brown. If you're watching, you can tell. We all look exactly alike.
You do look alike. All of your family. I'll know them on sight.
Exactly.
Wow. And grandparents were here too, right?
Yes. Born and raised here.
Who were your grandparents?
Ellen and Charles Mewburn and Billy and Margie Brown.
Wonderful. Okay, well, good. So now everybody's kind of placed you, and you both grew up in the area and went to high school locally, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Both went to Hart County High School.
Yes,
We did.
ma'am.
Now, were you, just to clear everything up, they're dating now, so that's a basis for me asking these questions. When you knew one another in high school, right?
Oh, yeah. We've been
But y'all were friends. Y'all were like,
5th grade.
Yeah.
is that when you
We're
met in the
best
5th
friends.
grade?
Best friends.
Aw,
Yep.
that's so cool.
I would not let him take no for an answer.
I didn't
He was
wanna
going
be
to be
her
my
friend.
friend.
Oh, you wanted to be his friend?
I
and you
didn't want to be her friend. When going into 6th grade, you don't want the pretty girl to talk to you, so you just kind of push them away.
Why?
I don't know. Girls are gross still in 6th grade, so you just kind of push them away, but she really didn't take no for an answer.
I was like, you're going to be my friend, whether you like it or not.
That's so funny. So y'all met at school, I guess?
No. We met at Lily's party.
Yeah, it was my oldest friend from church, and your cousin
Lily Eves, shout out.
had a great Halloween party every year. And there's a picture of us, I think it was 2002 on Halloween. They had a haunted hayride, and we were the only two that are like smiling, and we're sitting next to each other. Didn't really know each other. But then like 2 years ago, the picture kind of surfaced back up, and we're sitting right next to each other.
If you can find that picture, we're going to screenshot it.
I know, right?
That is so cool. And so were you close friends throughout from then on?
From middle school on.
Yeah, from
we
middle
saw each
school
other at drama camp at Hydra. Shout out to Hydra.
Yeah.
So fun. And that's when he did not want to be my friend because I acted like I knew him. I was like, hey, Sam. And he was like, not having it. Like, literally, totally ignored me. And all my friends were like, you don't know him? I was like, yes, I do. And so then when we came back in middle school, he wouldn't take no for an answer. So.
Aw, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So y'all became friends in middle school. That is a great story.
Yeah.
Now, you and I met at about the same time, I think. It might have been Will Rogers' Follies,
Yes.
which was one of my first plays, and I was in the large group of people. It was a very large cast. And
That was my first big play, too.
was it? Oh, you were one of the beautiful girls
Aw.
in the red, white, and blue, and then sitting in a row doing the hand things and everything. And you were one of the cowboys. And so I might have known you before, Sam, in a play. If I did, I don't know. But anyway, I really became acquainted with you both in that production and realized how talented that you were. You were in high school at the time. You were 11th grade, maybe?
We were both
Yeah, we were
10th.
both in 10th grade.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's coming up on the 10-year anniversary
Yes.
of that show.
Oh my
Isn't that
gosh.
crazy? Isn't that
Yes, we need a reunion.
Yep.
I think so.
That was so fun. And I had zero stage experience, acting experience. I was too shy in school to be in the drama club. until I was maybe a senior, and then I joined. My sister Claire had been in the drama club, and she loved it. And so I can remember my parents saying, "Well, why don't you be in the drama club? It's fun. She enjoys it. Maybe you would enjoy it." So I did, and I found it completely horrifying because all of this, there's a certain amount of. I love people and I'm terrified of people.
No, I get it.
And I think that's probably true for a lot of people who are in drama club or on the stage.
Absolutely.
You're really not an outgoing person the way that you seem that you are.
Yes.
So
It's because you're like so concerned that you need people like to like you and make you don't want to seem stupid. Yeah.
yes, you're so worried. Yes, absolutely. So the drama thing was fun in high school, and then I did not touch it again until I was 50.
Wow.
And then was in the Will Rogers show with the two of you in the background, had a ball.
Yeah. You were so cute.
I thought it was so much fun. And what amazed me about the two of you in particular is that you seemed so comfortable when you were on the stage.
All right.
That's my calling.
Well, how did you know that?
Well, I have a funny story, but do you want to go first?
You go.
Okay. Yours is that you were growing up with it, kind of. Well, my story is I went to drama camp and stuff only because my friends did, but I never would have been on stage. That was just not me. And then in 7th grade, I got put in Kathy Gilchrist. You know her, right?
She's fabulous.
Yes, exactly. I got put in her drama class, and I cried. I went home crying because I was like, I'm not being in this class. And I was never the type of person to not try new things. But I told my mom that night, I was like, I'm not going to be in drama. And she was going to call the school and try to get me out of it. And I had this one guy.
Because you were so traumatized.
Yes. I had this one guy. He was like, Bree, he's like, I promise, just give it a chance, and you're going to fall in love with it. You will get the theater bug. Sure enough, we did what did we do? Oz?
That was our 8th grade show.
So it was not 7th grade. I'm sorry. It was 8th grade. Yeah. We did Oz and literally fell in love with it. And I was on stage ever since.
Do you remember the first time that you had to go on stage, though, in a production that wasn't?
Oh, well, I was in a church play on stage, but I was extremely nervous.
Did you get stage fright?
But I guess not really. Because, I grew up doing dance on the stage. So it wasn't really that different to me.
So you did grow up doing dance?
Dance. Okay. Yeah, oh yeah.
And so you did recitals and stuff like that?
So I was used to that kind of thing. And I loved being on stage that way. But I guess I never, saw myself as somebody, singing or acting or, remembering the whole script,
And that's tough. And you do both. You sing and you act and you dance. That's a lot. That's a lot. It's unusual that somebody's good at all three. And both of you are good at all three.
I'm okay at all three. I'm just kidding.
You are good at all three. So that was your bug. And Sam, what about you? Did you grow up in a family that valued theater? Or?
Yes, very much so. I'm the youngest of 3 children. My brother is 15 years older than me, so I grew up going to see him in shows. When I was old enough to remember, he was already in college doing shows at Emmanuel. And one of the first shows I remember watching was Annie Get Your Gun that Emmanuel did. And I was just completely enthralled at the huge cast and all the dancing. And it was just something that I just remember to this day and kind of compare everything to.
So you were a wee kid at that point. You were 6 or something like that?
Around 6.
Wow.
But my family grew up, teaching. I grew up learning about music and had grandparents that really appreciated old musicals and old music. And so it wasn't just a random occasion that we would just say, oh, let's watch this movie, and it'd be Sound of Music or any musical, really. We had a hall closet that was just full of movies that we watched.
That's so cool. Now, was that one particular set of grandparents, or was that everybody?
That was my dad's parents, the Browns.
The Browns.
And really my mama, more so than anyone, she grew up loving that music, and she taught. There are 10 grandchildren. I'm the youngest of 10, but she pushed it on all of us to really appreciate it and like it and have an understanding for it. But I think it stuck with some of us more than others.
Sure.
So
do you remember sitting on a Sunday afternoon, rainy afternoon, and you pop in singing in the rain?
Yeah.
And watching it with her, maybe eating popcorn.
Yeah,
cool.
I do, absolutely. And that's one of my favorites too. So.
Mine too. In fact, you, as a dancer, you remind me of Gene Kelly.
Oh, thank you.
Because in dancing, I have to hand it to you because, and we're going to talk a little bit more about, a pathway that you don't see a lot of other people your age in Georgia doing dance. And so how did you learn to dance? Did you see it in the movies and say, that's what I want to do?
It really that's pretty much how it happened. And I would get up and I would say, y'all don't look at me, watch me. And I would get up and I would dance or sing or whatever. But I always, being the youngest, I never thought of it as, you're a boy, why are you dancing? Because all of my other cousins did wrestling or baseball or football or whatever.
Right, which is more typical here.
Right.
But Gene Kelly,
exactly.
Gregory Hines, Fred Astaire, oh my gosh, Sammy Davis Jr. There was a time, probably when your grandmother was watching and everything, that it was an extremely popular thing to do.
And my granddaddy, he really pushed me being a dancer because I would get anything metal or hard and tape it to my shoe and stand up on the coffee table and pretend like it was tap shoes because I didn't have any. So he was one that really pushed and instilled to practice. And he said, anything that you can focus on and practice, go for it.
Wow.
So, like, my brother played piano, my dad played piano, taught piano, but tap dancing, just that sense of rhythm and another aspect was so entertaining to me.
Yeah.
So I started very young, clogging actually, and then transitioned more into tap dancing.
That's so cool. So you were young, elementary school age when you started doing this. Did you go to, was there a Hot Shots back then, or was there a dance, or did you just?
I did. I started at Hot Shots in the 4th grade, I believe, is when I was there. But before that, I took from privately from Amy Parker. She taught clogging in the annex of the old hospital in Royston. And I went every Monday night and took clogging for an hour.
That's cool.
Every Monday night.
Do you think that's, and the question for both of you, do you think that is something that's inside of you, that you're born with, that you must do?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's not a choice. You don't so much have a choice because it's so much part of you that you have to express it in some way.
Oh, for sure. And I think I've found theater more to be that niche. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I was in high school and I was in elementary school, I danced, I tapped and stuff like that. And then I really got stuck on cheerleading all through middle school and high school. But theater's just that thing. And maybe it's not as much theater, it's just performing. Any kind of performance. I mean, even this is a performance right now for me, So just being able to be something, to somebody else.
Which is fun.
Yeah.
The first time I went into Hart County Community Theater, and I've said this on here before, I was over 50 and I was doing it as a board member who was focused on figures and fundraising and things like that. And they, Bill Griggs told me that they had a tenor that kept dropping out of the Music Man. And he goes, here, you sing. And he gave me the book. And I said, oh, I can't do this. And y'all, I was absolutely terrified. But the first night I showed up, there were people of all ages in the theater that were every shade of skin color and age and background. And they were all mingling on the stage and in the waiting area. And there were kids on stage that were twirling and singing and throwing things to each other and just so relaxed. And I thought, this is so freeing. This is so wonderful to be able to be in that environment.
Yeah, and it really brings people together, I feel like.
It does. It really does.
And it gives people a chance to get away. One thing I've found, like going from being in shows in high school to directing right out of high school, is you really don't know the home life of some of these, especially the teenagers and kids that are in the shows. And that 2-hour practice 3 days a week really gives them their only chance to be themselves, be with friends, be whoever they want to be.
Be unencumbered by.
Yes, and not just so disciplined
true.
Almost. That's not the correct word because it is still a disciplinary thing. But they really get a chance to be themselves and kind of let loose.
Yeah,
for sure.
You're right. That is so
And us
interesting.
too.
Us too, really.
Because we do it for fun. I mean, I tell the kids all the time that they don't know how much I appreciate them just because this is my outlet. I do it to have fun. I don't think about work when I'm there. I don't think about school when I'm there. I'm just having fun for 2 hours, and I get to be somebody I'm not. So.
I love the storytelling aspect
Yes.
I do too.
of it, because collaboratively you're telling a story to the audience. A lot of people think that they act in a theater production in order to entertain, but the entertainment is the byproduct. You're conveying a story
Exactly.
with your words, your facial expression, and your movements, and you're part of a big story. And what's great about theater is, unlike real life, when you may not say something right, or you may not say what you should have said, in theater you can hone it and work on it
Yes.
until it's so good.
Yeah.
Love that about theater.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So high school found you guys at cheerleading. Band? Were you in the band too?
Band program.
What did you play in the band?
I played everything in the band. My first year, I played the tenor saxophone and hated it because
wow.
you couldn't find me in the band. Everybody would watch and say, I didn't tell which one was you. And I was like, well, I don't like that. So I went with dance, and something else outside of the norm here in town is I went out for the flag and majorette line, the dance line, because I knew performing was what I loved.
Yeah.
And I already taught at Hot Shots.
Right.
So I was, used to being a dancer.
Wait, you
and
were teaching by the time you were in high school?
I was a student teacher, I think when I was 14.
Wow.
When I was 14. The first time I ever choreographed something was in 7th grade, because we didn't used to have a drama club in middle school. And it was an early morning 50-minute class, and you got selected or nominated by your teachers to be in these school musicals. And I think it was a musical about Alexander Graham Bell and the invention of the phone. And that was the first time I choreographed a whole show in 7th grade.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah, it was. I think Ann Pitts, who directed Anything Goes when we did it here, she was assistant principal at the time, and that's when she kind of pulled me and was like, "Hey, you have a talent here. You've done this whole thing, taught all of these kids how to dance, and you're just one of their peers." So that really kind of pushed that on me to go more toward performing that way. But in high school, like I said, I was on flag and majorette line, but junior year of high school, I broke my leg, so I didn't get to perform my senior year. And then the year after I graduated, they asked me to come back and be coach, and so I'm now auxiliary director at Hart County.
How lucky they are that you're able and willing to do that.
Yeah, it's fun.
Because with so much experience, even though chronologically you're not an old person, you have a lot of experience packed
Right.
into your years, which is great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Did you have friends in high school that said, dude, what are you doing in the flag corps?
Oh, all the time. All the time. But
Because that peer pressure thing, it exists,
Yes.
right?
I can remember Mr. Talbert, who's the band director now, he said, listen, I know you're talented. You can do it. I have no doubt in my mind you can do it. But do you understand the small town we live in, the amount of flack you're going to take for this? I said, oh yeah, I don't care. And I hate to say I went through high school with that, I don't care, attitude, but I really did. And I would have people come up that were on flag, like some of the girls that I danced with even at Hot Shots and grew up with, they would say, do you know what somebody so-and-so said about you? And I said, can they just say it to me? But nobody ever said anything to me personally about being on it, other than like, good job, you're really good. And there were people that I was
that's
like,
the proving ground.
Yeah.
There were people that would come up to me and I was like, okay, this is it. Like I could see them coming toward me in class or in the hallway, and they were like, you did really good on Friday. And I would just think, okay, great. Because, and one thing, I've never been like a small guy. So in high school, I was 9th grade, 6 foot tall, and 11th grade, easily 200 pounds. So I was bigger. And so nobody really said anything to me.
Worry about the bullying
Right.
physically, because you could have handled anybody.
Right, and I've had a smart mouth my whole life, so I knew I could pop back and just kind of be like, what?
Yeah.
To anybody who said anything to me. But it was really encouraging seeing peers especially,
That's good.
because you're so worried about, what are my friends going to think?
Right.
But all of my friends were very, very supportive, and like she was there every Friday night. I would be in the stands, and she was right in front of me cheering on the field, and I would be in the stands, performing. with the band. So
And one thing I look up, this is just like a mushy thing, but one thing I look up to him for is like, he is like, I mean, yes, he is different, and he's made dancing such a big thing, and he's made other guys, like all the guys in theater, like they're so good at the dancing, and they would have never came out of their shell to even be on stage, much less dance. And now Sam's got them being like professional dancers. So I mean,
He knows
what he's doing.
I second that because that is the one thing I remember starting in, of course, Will Rogers, when you were working with the Cowboys. Now the Cowboys were a small group of men that were different ages and different backgrounds, and I don't think any of them had ever done a dance step in their lives. Maybe at Wendell's.
maybe, maybe, exactly.
But you had them doing things that were just amazing.
He can make anybody look good.
Yes, I couldn't believe it. We were just in awe of what they could do. And then later, when we did Anything Goes, which is I'm promoting with the t-shirt today, when we did Anything Goes at Hart County, you took a group of high school students who did not have a background in dance. And these were shy kids. These were kids that were
Theater kids.
Yes, they're theater kids. We're all
Exactly.
theater kids. And they would come in, some of them were homeschooled, some of them had been in the public school their whole lives, some of them were new kids. But you took this group of kids that were, as I said, different sizes, shapes, shades of skin, backgrounds, and I could not believe how you taught them to dance. And I was so proud as a mother, I could be these kids' mother at some point. But, I looked at these kids like a maternal pride for them because they came out of their shells so much and they were just so good.
Yeah.
So if there's one thing that you would see if you were to go see this upcoming performance of Anything Goes, which we'll go over, you will see the dancing is just, it will take your breath away because you're not expecting kids that come from around here that don't have a background to be so good.
Yeah.
Right.
And they are.
They really are.
They're
They
so
really,
good.
really are.
The girls and the boys
Oh, yeah.
are so good. So
And he's made it such a norm now, like the dancing.
I love that.
Yeah.
Do you realize how much you have changed for the area to bring that? I don't remember any dancing much in the theater here before you started choreographing. That's huge. And now the theater in Elberton and Hartwell can pull off these musicals,
Yes.
Right.
which is amazing.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
So, that is really cool.
My thing was always to get boys, or when somebody would say, why are you doing this, whatever. I'm like, listen, there are 25 of us on auxiliary. I'm the only boy. Who are they going to talk to? They're all going to think you're cute. They're all going to come and be like, hey, Sam. And so it really makes you, 10th grade is such an awkward time in everybody's life.
It is.
And it really kind of made me come out of my shell and talk to people, just being like that.
That's interesting.
And I wouldn't say I was shy, but I was more reserved being, from around the area and dancing. You don't want to throw it out there. But back to Mr. Talbert, he said to me one time, people come and they watch the band, but they always look around at the girls who have these big flags or these big props doing these big movements, so you're more visible that way. He said, and when they're all looking out at those girls, they're going to always pick out the one that's different. Well, I was that one that was different.
Yeah.
And so he really put it into perspective for me that out of 175 people on the field at one time, the majority of the audience is looking at me.
Right.
So I think that really kind of
You're the
pushed.
tallest, you're the only man.
Exactly. So that really put a more perfectionist mentality
good.
into me.
Yeah.
Which I really push on the kids.
Yeah.
Because I say, I know this is Hart County, I know this is Elbert County, I know we're so far from New York City, but people don't want to pay money to see mediocre talent. And I said, y'all are so talented. So if you keep the mindset of this is not Broadway, but it's the next best thing, you're going to
How
be
do
fine.
you recruit the boys? How do you
Well, they're
Got them all speed down now.
Yeah.
I would imagine that for the girls, it's fairly easy. I think girls are exposed to more because of dance,
Yes.
maybe baton and dance and things like that.
And he brings a lot of his fly girls.
A lot of the auxiliary girls. in the show, Bree's character has 3 showgirls that follow her everywhere, and they're her angels, is what they
And
call
they
them.
are stunning.
And
They are just.
in the script it says 3 leggy showgirls follow, and I was like, where am I going to find this? And we were walking around at band practice one day, and they're out there just sweating, and they're all out there just dancing. And I have a dance line that's separate from the flag twirlers, and I was standing there, and I was like, okay. And I said, would any of y'all like to be in a play in March? And 3 of them simultaneously went, we do, in unison.
Wow.
And I said, all right, there you go.
1, 2, 3.
They act alike. They move just alike.
They do.
Yes.
It's like they're
Synced.
one person.
Yeah.
They all
So-
move so well.
To back up a little bit, because I kind of
precious.
jumped into this.
That's
This
fine.
Anything Goes production will be at the Elbert Theater in a couple of weeks, and we're going to screenshot so you can see. And I went the other night to watch a rehearsal, which is how I know so much about the cast and things like that, and have seen the dancing and all that.
And you were in it before.
Well, in Hart County I was. But Sam is directing this time, and you're directing as I believe you're an Elbert Theater board member.
I am.
So that's a responsibility.
Yeah.
And you're also one of the lead parts in it. Are you feeling the pressure?
I felt the pressure since I announced that I wanted to do this show last July.
So you were driving this one.
Absolutely.
Did you do it thinking, of course, that the 2 of you would do it together? And
Absolutely.
surprise
I asked her first because she's also on the board in Elberton with me. So I was like, hey, listen, I really think that we can pull this show off in Elberton, because it was such a hit here in Hartwell. One of the
so fun.
highest grossing shows that we've ever done here. And so many people from Elberton came to see it.
Yeah. And they know us
Really?
from that.
And Elberton's such an older community, like Hartwell, so they all grew up with Cole Porter's music.
Yes.
They all recognize the music. They recognize the show. So them driving from Elberton, and I know it's 20 minutes, but 20 minutes is a lot
It is.
for a
At night.
community show.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I do.
So I was like, it's going to be a hit. I know it will be. We're going to do it. Will you be Reno again, the star? She was like, of course. So
I cannot imagine anybody else in the role, to be honest.
exactly.
I'm
exactly.
spoiled. Well, the Elbert Theater was recently redone in the last 10 years, right? And it is a beautiful place.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
We're lucky.
Yeah, I saw a play there last year and went back, of course, the other night. And it is a very comfortable auditorium. It's a real theater.
Yes.
And the stage is
Huge.
up high. You can see really good. The lights are
Absolutely.
great. The music is great. And so I would encourage people, if you want something fun to do, this is a fun thing to do. And I've got a group that if anybody wants to go, we're all heading down in a
Good.
convoy.
Good.
So it will be a lot
Hartwell
of fun.
band.
That's right. Exactly.
Caravan, yeah.
In Hartwell, I know that you will continue to do things here and maybe for the community theater here. I know you've done a lot of things in the past in Hart County. Do you have any thoughts of doing things anyplace else, like Athens or
sure.
Anderson? Or okay,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
we are growing this thing. Okay.
The only thing about me and Sam are we're really picky with what shows we audition for. So we just audition for the shows we like.
The shows that you really love.
Absolutely.
And the Anything Goes, is that one of your favorites?
Oh, for sure.
And why? I mean, does it?
Oh my gosh.
Is it?
Sorry.
It's kind of a timeless show, right?
It really
so
is.
funny.
It's set in the
30s.
30s.
1930s.
And it's mostly young people that are feeling freedom, breaking away from the restraints of the Victorian era, right?
For sure.
Right.
Is that not like today? I mean, that's
Absolutely.
kind of a timeless theme.
And it's hilarious.
So-
So funny.
It is a funny show. The words are funny. The songs are funny.
The good, they
Gags are funny.
and we always kind of look for musicals that everybody's gonna like, because me personally, my parents don't love musicals, so yes, so I have to be sure that they're gonna stay entertained.
Yeah.
And they really like this one, so
Oh, that's good.
yeah.
It really is a timeless show, and being around here, you can't just pick any musical and expect it to do well, because it's not. Having a timeless musical, you have to think, okay, are the little old ladies from my church going to enjoy this? Am I going to be embarrassed when I see them the next Sunday? Are they going to call my mama and tell her what I've done on the stage? So, like, a lot of things go through your head. Like, will the kids enjoy it? Will the older people enjoy it?
Yeah.
It's been said that I won't do a musical or a show if it's less than 25 people. I always seem to throw my hat in the biggest musical I can find, and I don't know how it happens, but it really just seems to go off without a hitch every time I've done one, and it's a lot more. You get more enthralled when you hear 25 sets of tap shoes coming out
Oh yeah.
instead of 4.
Yeah.
So it really just kind of like you sit back and you take a deep breath, like, oh wow, it just gets bigger and bigger.
It's visually and the tap sounds and the songs and the horns, and it's just it's amazing. I can remember when we did this at Hart County, I was the society matron. And it was very, very fun. But I had a change of clothes during the end of one of the big numbers. And so I'd run down the stairs into the dressing room, and I was the only one down there. It was spooky down there. And hearing so many people tapping, I thought, if I don't get out of here this way, I'll fall in. It's that loud. But it's so great. So this one's coming up, and what do you think you might do next?
A break.
A break.
A break.
Is it not exhausting? It is so exhausting.
It is.
Well, and to be honest with you too, and this might bring people in, the first time we did it, we started practicing in January, and the shows were in May. And we had 3-day-a-week practices?
Yes.
Yeah. So then this time comes around, we start practicing in January again, have to practice 4 days a week, and the show's in March. So we have literally
compressed.
been in crunch time the whole time. So this show, y'all, is very impressive.
And we're the only 2 reprising our roles from Hart County. There are some Hart County people in the show.
But they're in different roles. I noticed that.
Different roles.
Yeah.
One of the showgirls we had is now stepped up into another lead role. One of the kind of minor FBI agents on the ship is now a male lead role. So they're really kind of all shifting around. And I only have one dancer that was a dancer in the last show. And he was like, are the dances going to be the same? And I was like, they're not. I said, I'm going to change everything. He was like, all right, let's do it. So that's one thing for the people that did see it 3 years ago. I know they said, I would watch that 1,000,000 times over. It's going to be a little bit different.
You're right. It's different. I noticed even some of the songs, I think, are a little bit different.
Yeah.
Costumes, different.
Costumes are different. The way the actors bring a different persona to the part is interesting. So that's going to be fun. So I have to ask you a question. I hope this is not embarrassing.
Let's hear
You
it.
can cut it out if it is. The last time that you did Anything Goes, you were friends,
Yes.
right? And now
I'm just kidding.
Sam's like, cut. And now you're dating.
Yes.
So that's it's got to be a different dynamic, doesn't it?
Completely
Because
different.
I don't want to give anything away, but you don't end up together at the end. This is not your. So how is that? How different is it this time?
Well, I would say we've only done one show that we've ended up together. But
Where are you going with this?
we always tell the director when we go into an audition, we're like,
Yeah.
look, we don't have to be cast off of each other, because there are some couples in theater that are like, I'm not doing it unless he's my counterpart.
Right.
But we're very much like, if we get a role we want and it's not necessarily together, we'll still do it. But we're there doing the show together. We just might not end up together.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, I personally think it's easier to not play on him.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm a totally person. I'm not Brie Alexander on that stage, and I do not love Sam Brown on that stage. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm old, I do love him, but you know what I'm saying? When we did a play where we ended up together, that was one of my hardest roles I've ever done.
You weren't dating at that point?
No.
Oh, was it awkward?
Not really.
We were dating.
Because some of them.
We were fresh dating at the time.
Yeah. We were. No, okay.
Brand new dating.
Yeah.
But some of the roles you are singing, close together, and the dancing. When you're dancing, you're holding each other close. I mean, it must be awkward if you don't like somebody.
Exactly.
Or if they smell funny.
Yeah, if they stink. Yeah, that's the worst.
But it must be almost too comfortable if you are dating, because then the line between acting and real life gets blurred. So maybe it is easier.
Oh, well, some things.
Yeah. One good thing about this show is our characters are best friends.
Yes.
So it is okay for us to be, a little closer and kind of joke with each other on stage.
And the first thing that goes, to be honest, everybody in Hartwell, that's how, we fell in love, honestly. So.
Our first kiss was at a Sunday rehearsal, and Ann came in. She has bags in both hands.
This is Ann Pitts.
Yeah, and we're just standing on stage, just kind of talking to each other, and she does not blink an eye and walks right past us, and she goes, "We're kissing today," and just keeps walking, because we've been dreading the moment when our characters kiss in this, because we were just then we just kind of looked at each other and went, "Okay," and just walked away. So,
How fun. What show was that?
Anything goes.
That was the Anything Goes. Oh, that was
3
the
years
Anything
ago,
Goes show. Yeah. Gosh, how did I not know any of this? It just went right over my head.
Everybody else did.
Yeah, everybody else did.
I must have had my head in the sand. Well, anyway, so that brings up another point. Do you, as the director, does she get sensitive when you direct her? Or do you direct?
On camera?
I'm scared of what he's going to say.
I don't think so. I think she really sees that I've got to be fair to everybody.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that she is the lead in this, so she does get more attention. But I think if she was playing a secondary role, she would understand where I would be coming from. One good thing about, dating is we're always together, so we can always practice songs or dances.
True. That's true.
So
that's got to be fun, though.
Oh yeah. Well,
Do you have a karaoke machine at home?
Thank you. I tried.
I would say, honestly, I am a total, drama queen.
Well, I wasn't going to say it, but now that you brought it
if
up.
something bad happens, I'm like, Sam, so, he's been very nice.
And you're the counterpoint that's calm and that brings her down. And
I try to.
But when he's freaking out, I'm pretty calm for you.
We are very equal about that. We can both tell. Even when we were just friends, we could tell when the other one was stressed. And we always, even to this day, we won't say what's wrong, because we both can't stand when somebody says that. We just look at each other and we say, "What can I do?"
Yep.
And if the other one says nothing, you say okay, and you walk away. Don't keep on.
Okay.
If I say
Good
nothing, just walk
relationship
away.
advice.
Yeah.
So
it really is.
It really, and we take that on into worldly situations, I guess you would say, like with school or work. We still do that same thing.
Wow. That's good. So just what can I do? And if the answer is nothing, believe it.
Yeah,
Yep.
you just walk away, because
You don't say it, you ain't gonna help.
that's pretty much it.
Okay.
I asked you if you needed help.
I know sometimes people can't ask for help, but I know Sam is my rock, and if there's something I need and I know that he can do it, we're not afraid to ask each other for it. You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
Yeah.
That is good.
Yeah.
And you were friends, even though you left Hartwell for a while and went to Orlando.
Right.
Tell us about that.
So I moved to Orlando in February 2015 to do the Disney College program, and we were still really close then. But moving states does kind of pull you apart. We still stay in contact all the time, and then so I did the Disney College program.
Was it fun?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Is it hard?
Oh.
Is it just fun?
Hard. It's hard scrap.
Okay. Okay. Forgive me because I'm ignorant.
No, you're fine.
What's so hard about Disney? I'm sorry.
The working 75 hours a week.
Oh.
Yeah. Literally on Easter, you thought that would have been the best shift ever. On Easter 2015, I went in at 3 p.m. and did not get off until 4 a.m.
And you're in costume working the whole time.
The whole time. I mean, I had breaks, there was I think there was 3 30-minute breaks out, and they were broke up. But it is hard work, but I'll be honest with you, I learned so much about myself, so much about my work ethic, so much about what I did and did not want to do in life, so much about relationships I was in at the time. It was so eye-opening. And when I got home, I was a literally totally different person.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was an education with a capital E.
Yes, for sure. But I worked, I did, like, my role was merchandise. I worked in sales, and I worked at Magic Kingdom, Downtown Disney, Hollywood Studios, Epcot a little bit. And then my program was supposed to end in May, and I extended to August. So I stayed there from January to August and came back home. Really wanted to go back, and then I started my bachelor's.
But you didn't go back because you decided that's not, you knew enough about yourself at that point, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. And before I went there, I had just got done with my cosmetology license. So I knew that I had that, like, in the bag, like if I needed that to fall back on. And then when I went to Disney, I was like, there's such a big
That's why
world.
she looks so good. Because the cosmetology thing, I got to tell you, you know the hair and makeup. The picture that I use on HeartCom is the one where you did my hair that day. Oh boy, that looked good.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, so sorry.
No, you're fine.
And you did the cosmetology first, and that's kind of your, that could be your bread and butter at any point in your life.
Exactly.
So you've got that.
And it's become so useful. And, like, it's a job that's, like, always going to be needed.
Yes.
And don't get me wrong, I love it. It's definitely my hobby. If you need me, I work at Blush Hair Studio in Hartwell.
And she does a great job. Follow her on Instagram or Facebook.
But it's just my fun job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, I know
I
that
do.
there's so much more out there, and I know that I want to do more things.
Yes.
So when I came back from Disney, with that being said, I knew that I needed to get a bachelor's just in case I wanted a higher up job at Disney.
Yep.
Working in, like,
That was smart.
hospitality. Yes. So, yep, now I'm at University of Georgia.
Okay, I won't say go dogs. Because that's all anybody says when you're there, right? But go dogs. And so, Sam, tell me about you. What was your journey after you continued to coach there? I said coach. You were the director at the high school. Do they call you coach, or do they call you Mr. Brown? Or
They say Sam.
they call you Sam? Okay.
Usually high pitched and screaming because something's like wrong and I have to run over there.
Now that's a big commitment, isn't it?
It is. In the fall, well, it really starts late spring where we have tryouts. And then right after tryouts, we have to get our sizes, get our uniforms picked out, get them ordered, get practices started, get workouts started. And then June, hit the ground running, learning routines outside in the hot summer heat.
Yes.
then-
Notorious stories
Yeah.
about people fainting
Oh, yeah.
and things.
Oh, yeah. I always tell them, I never fainted when I was in high school. I don't expect you to, because I always had Gatorade. I always had water. Now, I understand some may have health problems.
Yeah.
And I said, but if you feel just you're going to pass out on this pavement, it's going to be hot on my hands to scoop you up. So if you feel like you're going to pass out, just go have a seat. I won't get mad.
Yeah.
And they do. Some have,
That's
but
good.
some are pretty strong-willed, and you can see them kind of like sway it, and I have to go be like, all right, go sit down.
You're out.
Go
Yeah.
sit down. But we practice Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Auxiliary practices on Wednesday, game on Friday. And it's from August to mid-November.
How do you have a life?
You don't. You don't. It happens
Or-
after band practice,
Yeah.
and we meet for supper.
Or I go to band practice and the games.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty much it. And
What
then
you do. Does that leave you time for a career though? Or
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you have to.
It does.
Figure out. Did you not want to teach and be part of the band as a teacher?
Well, my dream, I guess, one of many dreams when I was in high school, because I picked different ones, I wanted to be a literature teacher at Hart County. That's what I wanted to teach, like senior year literature, because that was my most fun class. Kathy Gilchrist taught it, and she had moved up from middle school to high school and was with us.
Okay.
But that's what I wanted to do, and I had a scholarship to Georgia to perform. Broke my leg junior year, like I said, and so that got taken away. I still have the pin that says University of Georgia that I signed with. That's all I pretty much have from that.
Oh,
Yeah, so pretty heart-wrenching. So
Yes.
after that, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to school. I don't want to. Why would they do me this way? So I was pretty down.
yeah.
But just really picking up odds and ends
Yeah.
jobs, teaching at the dance studio.
You have an amazing resilience.
Oh, thanks.
Where did that come from?
I don't know.
Grandmother, mother, dad, grandfather?
I guess just everybody in my family is so encouraging. So encouraging. And they, just remember, they always told me to remember like who I was and to always stay humble about it. Now, like being in dance and being, I guess, more performing, you have to have some type of ego and pride. But as soon as pretty much any of my family, siblings, parents, grandparents saw that, they snapped me down really quick. Really quick. I can remember being told, remember that scholarship? And they like looked down at my knee and I was just like, you're right. It could always get worse. I'm not the greatest thing. You're right.
That's funny.
But it was always like, they would say something like that, but then it was like, but you are really talented.
Yeah.
Or you are so great at this.
Being the youngest child and the youngest grandchild, maybe everybody before you blazed the path, and so maybe you didn't have to go, I don't know, maybe there was less pressure, maybe there was more because you were the youngest, I don't know. I'm the youngest of the youngest too. So.
On the, I guess, child perspective, there's 15 years between my brother and I,
Yeah.
10 years between my sister and I.
Oh, wow.
So I was pretty much,
were like an only
I was
child
the youngest,
in a way.
but I was also kind of an only child.
Yeah.
So that, but then cousins 4 and 5 years older. So I was kind of like their little rag doll and just
Yeah.
got pulled. Come on, Sam, you do this. Come on. So I was always like, okay, and just followed around whatever they wanted to do. So I grew up, you know, I guess I had children around me and interaction like that.
Yeah. Family's very important.
Absolutely.
And Bree, you're the oldest. You have a younger sister. And how much younger is she?
She is 20.
Does she have the acting bug?
She is the total opposite of me.
Really?
Yes. I try to get her to be in anything else.
Polar opposites.
Yeah. And I love her to death, and that's why we're so close, because we're so different.
because you're so different.
Because if we were the same, we'd be in competition with each other.
That's right. Exactly right.
No, she grew up playing softball. She did dance. She swore a baton for a long
taught
time.
her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So she did baton, and then she played softball. What else did she play? Oh, soccer. She liked soccer. Yeah. But no, total opposite. Like, did not want to have anything to do with cheerleading, theater, basically anything I was in.
Well, my gosh, but you did. You excelled at so many things. It would be hard to follow you just to say, you know. It would be hard if you're the younger sibling and you're so accomplished in that. It would be difficult. So she probably said, okay, I'm going to go this way.
Yeah. A different way.
Exactly.
I get that. I do.
Yeah.
I do. Well, that is cool. So you're going to continue your school. You're going to continue your work and your auxiliary direction. What is the name of it? What do you do there, though? Director of the auxiliary?
It's titled auxiliary sponsor.
Sponsor,
Is that
okay.
That's the official title.
Okay.
But I just I coordinate flag and majorette and choreograph for the flag. I have an instructor that teaches the majorettes, so she choreographs that and
Okay.
kind of takes the few that we have of them aside, and I never have to worry about them. But I have, last year, what did we have? 28 girls
Oh, wow.
throughout high school. So
What would they do without you? That's so
my gosh.
scary. But hopefully, you know, whatever you do, you will stay close by. And more direction in the future?
absolutely.
More acting? More dancing?
Oh, yeah.
We always
Sure.
look for
At least one a year, honestly.
That's about all you can do because it is
Yes.
so consuming.
But I'll be honest with you, by June we'll be like, I sure miss
You'll be
it on
thinking
stage.
about it
Yeah,
again, won't you?
exactly.
Do you have anything in mind that you would love to do that hasn't been done in a while or hasn't ever been done that you want to direct?
My two dream directions and or like to be a part of would be Legally Blonde and 9 to 5. I think both like Elberton and Hartwell would just get a kick out of both of those.
Absolutely. I don't know. It's hard. I like so many, but there's so many singing musicals. But I prefer the dance musicals because that's more entertaining. You don't want to just stare at somebody singing. You can do that anytime, really.
But you can get singing and dancing.
Exactly.
That's what's
exactly.
good. Yeah.
I saw Anything Goes at the Peace Center with Ann Pitts back in, I think, 2013. And we just sat there in an intermission after the huge tap number that goes on for 5 minutes. We were
7 minutes.
7 minutes. 7 minutes. We were just sitting there and we were just like out of breath. We were looking at each other like, we've got to do this show. So we go see shows at least 6 a year that tour around. I would like to do Hello Dolly as a show, either here or in Elberton, or Singing in the Rain.
Yeah.
I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Please.
A lot of fun.
Those would be, I would be an extra in any of those. I would
you know, we would
love
call you.
that.
Yep.
I would love that. That would be
Absolutely.
so fun. So, anything else we need to cover? We've talked about almost everything. Was there a person, and you're both a fan, I guess, of movies and musicals. Is there a character or an actor that you most identify with? It could be a person in real life, or it could be it could be a character in a play or a movie.
Well, my favorite all-time actress, and he's about to laugh at me, I know, but Reese Witherspoon is like all-time favorite. I feel like she is like the actress version of me. I just
Yes,
love her.
your alter ego. I get it.
Yeah. But then I also love, like, as far as Broadway stars go, I love Sutton Foster and Rachel York. They do amazing things too. And I know a lot of people don't really know Broadway famous people, so that's why I had to add the real actress. I mean, they're all real actresses, but you know.
Yeah, but the name recognition's not there like
exactly.
the movie.
Like Reese Witherspoon, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Reese Witherspoon, Sutton Foster, Rachel York. Yeah.
What about you?
I would say, honestly, it goes like back to like Gene Kelly things.
Yes.
Because there's nobody now really that does sing or dance. Please. No, that's fine. But I would say more like Gene Kelly.
Yeah. Oh gosh, he's so amazing. I can remember when my kids were young showing his musicals because he's just such a good dancer.
Yeah.
And he's so athletic. You know, it's a different kind of a dance. It's not all tap and it's not all modern, and it's just this
Very
classic. And
he made, because there were like Fred Astaire, he was like tall and lanky, and the girls just kind of pulled him around.
Right.
But Gene Kelly was so muscular and athletic.
Yes.
He controlled everything that went on just through movement. And so I always, like when I'm teaching the boys, because it's so hard to teach them because it's completely out of their comfort zone. At least some of the girls had taken some type of dance.
Exactly.
But I look at them and I'm like, all right, look, this hand on their back controls everything. Your grip in their hand controls everything else. So y'all are in control of the whole dance. Just really making them see how important they are. Because you can't have ballroom dancing without a man.
I know, exactly.
So.
Exactly. Well, that is so cool. Is there a show or a movie that you think somebody sneaked in and wrote about your life? Do you ever identify what?
I'm just kidding.
Kinda.
Have you ever seen the movie Barefoot in the Park?
Yes, with Robert Redford.
Who is probably one of my other favorite actors is
Yeah.
Robert Redford. And
Yeah.
Who was
First
in
off-
Barefoot in the Park? Jane Fonda?
Jane
was with
Fonda.
them? Yeah.
With the red hair.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
watched that movie. We were like,
Ooh,
but there's
That's
probably other
awesome.
things, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I mean,
In high school, when we would sit, because nobody would want to listen to like movie musical show tunes or like pop music with each other, so we would sit in gym after we were, did our PE exercises.
Activities.
We would sit with one headphone in one ear and one in the others. And Moulin Rouge had been around for about 10 years at
have
the
you
time.
ever seen that one?
I have not.
Oh,
With
gosh.
Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
That's like
again
our
with the red
one of our
hair.
favorites.
Okay.
Again with the red hair. And we thought we were the people in
Yeah.
that movie. Like we would sing the songs to each other and like look at each other just so passionately. As like 13 and 14-year-olds, like, yeah, this is like real life.
It is now.
It is now, yeah.
So cute. That's adorable. Man. Well, this has been fun. I cannot believe an hour has gone.
Oh wow,
Crazy.
really?
I know, that was fast. If we want to come to Anything Goes in Elbert at the Elbert Theater, we will come on. Opening night is the 8th of March. Yeah, that's a Friday,
That's
so it's a
next
week
Friday.
from Friday. Oh, yay!
Yeah, great.
And so it'll play Friday and Saturday night, and then Sunday afternoon, and then the following Friday. I do have glasses here. The following Friday is the 15th, and then that Saturday at 7, and then that following Sunday, March 17th at 2. So you got 2 weekends to see it.
2 weekends.
And the times are different than Hartwell's, right?
We are
good
at 7
point.
p.m.
7.
and 2 p.m.
Yeah.
2
7
p.m. on
and
Sunday.
2. 7 and 2.
We're used to 7:30 and 2:30
That's
in
right.
here, but it's
So don't be late.
7 and
Don't
2.
be late.
Because
Don't
we
be
almost
late.
did a few
Yeah.
times. So.
And you can call the box office and get tickets ahead of time, or you can get them at the door.
at the door.
Okay.
They are discounted if you get them in advance. They're $11 a person in advance and $16 at the door.
What a bargain.
Right.
Yeah, it really is.
And this particular play is multi-generational.
Yes.
You can take your 5-year-old, your 10-year-old, your 22-year-old, and all the way up through your great-great-grandparents.
Yes.
Exactly.
Because everybody will enjoy it. Something
They'll get
fun to
something
see.
out of it.
Yes, they will.
This is what's funny about it. Like when my family came and seen the first one, so like it was my grandma, my aunt, one of my uncles, and my cousin. My cousin was 8 at the time. That was my uncle's first ever like step in the theater, and then of course my grandma loves everything I'm in. But it was just so funny because like my uncle loved it so much, and then Hannah loved it so much. So like it just shows you right there that everybody just loves it.
That's an interesting point because if people have not ever been to live theater before, this would be a good first show to see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It really is.
Even if you don't think you like theater, go because you will.
Yes.
It's so exciting. It's just wonderful. So thank you guys so much for being here.
you.
This was
We
so
enjoyed it.
fun.
It was fun.
I
It was
loved
a lot
it.
of fun.
So we're going to support you in the next couple of weeks. And
Thanks.
we'll look forward to the next thing after that.
Yay! Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks everybody for being with us today, and we will see you next week.